let's get into college football, guys. Week 1, really exciting week. We got week 2 coming up. This is an overreaction week, or maybe getting out in front of the market week. Depends how you want to look at it. Big man, you just shot a little message to all of us. I loved it, man. Our conversation before we got on the air. Let's just hit on it again. We got the Howard game versus UNLV. Yeah. Obviously, looking to bet them this week. What do you got, man?
Yeah, I don't really get why this line's – it opened up at 21.5 at 5 dimes. And for anyone that doesn't know, they're playing Kent State, the Golden Flashes. I took them at 21.5. It's down to 20.5. So I got some good CLV, Donnie.
Can you go right now and cash that ticket in?
Yes, I might ask. I might call down there and ask. But, yeah, people said, obviously, historically it was the biggest upset in point spread history, though – I'm not sure who put that line out. I don't know why UNLV was laying over 40 points to anyone. I think they could have played, my high school team, and they wouldn't have won by 40 plus. But, yeah, this week against Kent State, a team that really didn't show up against Clemson. And, look, it's Clemson, I know. But like Donnie Wright has said, just the sheer giving up point, I mean – you literally ran up the middle every play. I mean, you basically threw in the towel a series or two in.
1 yard passing for a game that you lost, by 50 points?
It's just there's just no heart with this team. I don't get how you do that. You just say, I'm going to just quit a series into the game. I guess they were preparing for Howard. I don't know. But to release the line at 21.5 for a team in Kent State who, I don't really bring up much from what a team did the year before, but Howard lost last year to NC-A&T, another MEAC team, by the way. They also only beat Monmouth by 20, a team that they should crush. I just don't know that they have blowout potential. And I think Howard, I'm not sure they're going to be down. Why would they be down? They're playing with house money. They just beat UNLV. Now they go play another team. Why don't they go and say, you know what? We can beat this team. They're not that – I mean, they're kind of on her level in a way. I mean, UNLV might not have been, but I think Kent State is. Donnie, you got to be a fucking nut to lay 21.5 with Kent State.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not even a lines maker, Jeff. We talked about it earlier, when this line's going to come back. We thought a fair line in this game was 9.5 to 10.5 points, and it opens up, just about double that, which is interesting. But again, it's not so much looking at Kent State or what Howard actually did. It's the matter of fact that, I know George Bolus is the backup quarterback for Kent State. He can't pass. They literally, Jeff, can't pass. Now, if you rewind last year, Kent State was competitive in MAC games, and Holly was amazing at quarterback, literally running 30 to 35 times like you were a high school offense. I don't know how that's going to trend or move over, because last week, and again, it was Clemson. You're not supposed to beat them, but they literally, and you're right, and I can't stop saying it, they handed the ball off repeatedly on 3rd and 11 right up the middle for no gain, and we're more than happy to punt and have the clock run. That's not the type of mindset I want for my football team, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But again, Jeff, 20.5. You're going to say Kent has to put up what, Jeff? 45 points after barely gaining a yard, it seemed like, in the last game.
They're just not a team you want to lay a big number with. They're not a team that blows teams out. They clearly, they might not be all there this year. And Howard is playing with house money at this point. I really think they're a good play here. I think they're going to hang in this game. Will they win? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If you can find a money line on this game, why not take a shot with it? Kent State is not a good football team. They're poor. But yeah, Drew, I'm interested in that one. But I think the biggest upset to me ever, honestly, I think Baylor losing was the worst upset I've ever seen. I don't know how that happens. With all the stuff going on there, and I know you got to play football at some point, and I feel like football is almost therapy in a way for some of these people. And you give up 447 passing yards to the Flames of Liberty. I mean, you didn't do it to Texas Tech or Iowa State or even Tulsa or somebody like that. You did it to Liberty. 447 passing yards. That is unbelievable. Matt Rule should take a long goddamn look in the mirror. That is pathetic. That is the worst upset I've ever seen, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah, wait till Big 12 play starts. It's just going to get even better for that Baylor.
Baylor took a lot of key injuries too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, we were just talking about that. I just logged into my 5 dimes, 423 Howard plus 20.5, minus 120 right now. I don't know. What are you thinking that line is by kickoff? Under 17?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see it play out, Jeff, because, again, that line just came out, so people are just sizing that up right now. But I find it hard to believe that the public just wouldn't get – again, we don't like to do overreactions, and I am overreacting to Kent because I don't think they're going to be quite as bad as they showed against Clemson. Clemson's a really good football team, but the actual heart of it, and then you see another team go out and actually win a football game, you're saying, wait a second. Kent State, and this isn't just from the last game. This is the last couple of years. Their offense has been putrid. Now you're saying again, wait, Kent State's going to need to put up somewhere in the mid to high 40s to cover this line. Theoretically, it's an interesting line to put out by the lines makers, man.
Yeah, and the total's at 55. That's what Five Dimes is hanging right now. I mean, with Kent games, they're almost an automatic under. But I guess with Howard, the mobile quarterback, I'm not too
that
sure.
game to me looks like 28. 17 or so. I don't think it's high scoring at all.
Jeff, will you be tweeting me in the first quarter? How the hell is Kent State up 21-0 early?
Well, maybe, but I don't. Again, we can always worry about that. I'll say with Baylor, I mean, why are they laying 17 to UTSA? I mean, you got to be mad. You got to be absolutely nuts. You got to have something wrong in the head to lay double digits with Baylor. I mean,
now, Jeff, are odds makers trying to not to overreact by still keeping these lines saying there's a head scratcher? Wait a second, this team just lost here. They're playing theoretically a better football team and still going to lay about 3 touchdowns. It's really interesting that they're keeping these lines where they're at.
Here is the caveat to these week 1 upsets that happened. And I saw it last year with 2 teams in particular. What happened to Washington State when they lost in week 1 last year to an FCS team? All they did after that was go on to a tremendous point spread run. It left them devalued for pretty much the rest of the entire season. What happened to Temple last year? Temple lost their first game against Army, got blown off the field by that Army team last year in week 1. What happened after that? Everybody backed off the Temple train, and Temple went on to cover every single number the rest of the season last year after losing to Army. There is going to be one, just a second, there's going to be one team this year in college football, week 1, that looked awful. In week 1 and lost outright, an inexcusable loss. And that loss is going to have that team devalued, and you're going to have point spread value moving forward with that team. Is it going to be Texas? Who knows? I personally don't think it's going to be Baylor, but it could be. Is it going to be a bunch of these teams? UNLV. What are we going to see from UNLV now after losing to Howard? I'm saying there is going to be one team that everybody is just throwing under the bus after week 1 for a pathetic loss, and it's going to leave them undervalued from a point spread perspective for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and someone's going to be able to cash in riding it. Who it's going to be yet, I don't know, but I'm fascinated to see here in week 2 who that could be.
But the problem that Baylor has, none of them have, is Baylor has extreme personnel issues at that school, and there's a lot going on there that these other schools don't have. I think, Ian, your point there is totally right, and I think Texas is probably that team. I mean, if we remember when Oregon brought in Chip Kelly, they lost their first game. They ended up winning the Pac-12 that year. So yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of overreactions, and certain teams will be fine. I think Texas will be fine. I mean, Herman will get them going, and I just don't. I think Baylor's just kind of in it right now. They have a lot going on there. They have a new coach. They have a lot personnel problems. I just think they're a team that it's hard to lay double digits with. But you're right. I mean, there's massive overreaction. I mean, look at Middle Tennessee State. I mean, they're a way better football team than they played on Saturday.
There you go. There's another one. I didn't even mention them. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I don't know. Vandy's a good team. I mean, they're going to go bowling this year. They have a good defense. There's a lot of teams. I mean, we could make the case for, is Oklahoma State as good as they are? Yeah, they probably are. I mean, there's tons of we can make a case for anything, really.
Yeah, that's my simple point was last year we had Washington State and Temple, 2 clear cases of teams that lost week 1. Everybody jumped off the point spread bandwagon of both of those teams, and then they went on incredible point spread winning streaks, ATS, the rest of the season. There's going to be a team that after week 1, everybody's just, I don't want this team anymore. Someone now is going to come out of that pack. Texas, Baylor, Middle Tennessee, UNLV, who the hell knows at this point, but someone is going to come out of that pack and be a point spread machine and a point spread money maker moving forward. Who it's going to be, I don't know. Personally, though, big man, I don't think it's going to be Baylor. I think this program's in a mess right now. That's the one team I'm pretty confident in saying I don't think they're going to turn it around point spread wise after losing to Liberty in week 1. In fact, I'm willing to take Texas San Antonio. That's a bet on team for me going into the season. I'd be interested in them this week.
All right, guys. So we brought up Middle Tennessee. Looks like they're 3-3-9 on the rotation this week, and they're facing Syracuse. Obviously, going from Vanderbilt's defense to Syracuse defense is like night and day. So this one's line Syracuse -9.5, 10 starting to show up at Chris. 72.5 the total. Bet up to 76.5. This is off the cuff. Just what are you guys looking to bet in this game in the Carrier Dome?
I would be on the Blue Raiders outright in this game. I don't. When you have a team like Middle Tennessee facing a team in Syracuse who is inept defensively, and look, I know we can make the case Middle Tennessee is as well, but I have a feeling this is a close game throughout. I'll gladly take the money line. I think Middle Tennessee's a live dog. I don't think they're. I think the line's massively overreacted to the first game. I think they're better than Syracuse is. I think they'll get right in this game. Brent Stockstill, like you said, Drew, Vandy's nowhere near what Syracuse is on defense. I think with Scott Schaefer coming back to Syracuse, he knows that football team. He coached there. He's now the D coordinator at Middle Tennessee. I think that's going to be big in this game. I'm not even worried about the points. I'm going to take the money line, and if I can get that here, I'm going to give it plus 289. I'm all over that. I think this is a game that they'll go in and win. I don't even care about the points. I don't think this line's anywhere near where it should be. It should be 3 or 4. Middle Tennessee will win this game.
Donnie, any opinion on this one?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I circled this game, a few days ago when it came out, Middle Tennessee State. Obviously, I was very high on them last year and the year before. This is exactly the type of game that Middle Tennessee State wants to be in. Another team that's going to want to run with them and have that same type style of play. If you looked at Vanderbilt, obviously an SEC speed, you had an SEC defense out there, a power running game, looking to slow it down and just grind you into a halt. This game's going to be an open track meet. And what I really like about it is, again, you're looking at overreaction. Somebody might see the score and doesn't know. Oh, Syracuse looks like they're back. It was an FCS team. They pummeled and put up tons and tons of points against Middle Tennessee State. Still new to the betting scene. If you're just a normal public bettor, you're saying, you know what? They lost last week bad. They're going up to Syracuse. I remember when Donovan McNabb was on Syracuse. They were a really good team. Probably tough to play in the Carrier Dome. This is exactly what they need. 21% of the spread is only coming in on Middle Tennessee State. 93% of the money and 79% of the tickets coming in on Syracuse here. Chris opened that line at 10. Still currently sitting at 10. I think 10's a bargain here. I like a bounce back from the.
I like that. I like that angle, Donnie. Talking about a directional school and bringing in Donovan McNabb. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Hey, oh wait, Carrier Dome. Oh damn, Syracuse looked good last week. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
One team. 6 points and saying, oh, Syracuse is back. They should be able to score. They should be able to beat. Who the hell is Middle Tennessee State?
Donnie, why not just take them straight up? This one's going to be back and forth. You know it better than I do. And listen, Middle Tennessee returns 8 of 9 top tacklers. We have to point out their defensive coordinator coached at Syracuse. I think he knows a lot of these kids. This is a ridiculous 9. I don't know how they put 10 out. This massive. Donnie's totally right. Massive overreaction in this game.
Yep.
Massive.
I think Syracuse will be improved, but I'm not ready to lay this price. Not even.
Let's keep another thing with the ball written all over it.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's keep in mind
another
too
overreaction, maybe underreaction. Let's get to is Texas that bad? Is Maryland this good? What are we talking in Texas, Maryland here? What are you thinking, Donnie?
I don't like
a little bit of both in that situation. Go ahead.
Big. Yeah, the Piggy injury's big with Maryland for sure.
Ian, man, he's funny.
Go ahead, Ian.
We're trying to box Ian out. Go ahead, man. Take it.
No. Go ahead.
He wants to talk Texas. Let him at it. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Get it. Texas. Go.
No, I think Texas is going to be fine. I mean, I think they're going to be fine. It's one of those weird games, too. Maryland had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. It was a wild game. I do have concerns about this defense. That's going to be a work in progress. No question about that for the Texas Longhorns. This team's going to be able to put up points, though, throughout the course of the season. You got Tom Herman there, knows how to get things done and plan and game plan and scheme on the offensive side of the football. Shane Buechele, I think he gets more comfortable with Tom Herman here in the system here in Texas, going to get better on that side of the ball. I'm not ready to throw the Longhorns under the bus just yet after 1 week.
Anybody else got an opinion on Maryland or Texas?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Ian. I for whatever reason continue to have a soft spot for Texas, even though I think their athletic program is vastly overrated. But no, I agree. I don't think they just got really I think Maryland, they were surprised by how good Maryland might have been. Going forward, Maryland's going to have some problems with their quarterback out. But Texas has Bouchel. They have plenty of options. Defensively, they're better than they showed on Saturday. I really believe that. They'll be fine. They better be fine because Todd Orlando's getting paid a lot of money to coach that defense. So he better wake up. I think this week, they might be in a good spot to bounce back as well. I know San Jose State kind of hung with South Florida, but let's be honest, they did end up losing by 20+ in that game. Land 26, I don't think people are going to be quick to run to the window and bet on Texas. They may hammer the Spartans in this spot, though. I'm not going to bet it, but agreed. I don't think they're as bad as they showed.
Drew Youngston saying fade Maryland until we know how good the new QB is. That's a good thing to say. I mean, I think their quarterback that got injured, Pigney, he was a hell of an athlete, and with him gone, we got to see how that offense reacts. But they moved
the ball with the backup. The kid came in and played pretty well, I thought. But you're right. I mean, we have to keep it. Kasim Hill, the freshman, I thought he was pretty good. But you're right. New game. You got to prepare.
That's the thing. Coming in cold off the bench, now you know you're the guy. Now you know you got to prepare and practice the whole week. That's a big difference. So we'll see if he can duplicate it coming up.
Sure. Yeah, it is different, but Big Man brings up a good point. I mean, if he already performed well, then he has confidence. And we know Walt Bell, he's one of the best offensive coordinators out there. So it's a good offense to be in. But, guys, let's break down a couple games, 3-7-7, 3-7-8. The two Tigers going at it, Auburn at Clemson. Clemson laying 5, 53.5 the total. Ian, you want to start us off on this one?
Probably not going to have much on this game. I need to see what Jarrett Stidham and this Auburn offense can do against a legitimately one of the best defenses in the country as far as I'm concerned in the Clemson Tigers, on the road here in Death Valley. Let's see if they can move the ball. Let's see if they can get it done. I'm not willing to sell Clemson short. I mean, Clemson, I know, obviously we were wondering the Deshaun Watson not being there, how quickly they would adapt at quarterback, but I thought he played well, albeit against Kent State, but now it's going to be a different challenge. But I was very impressed with how he played last week for this Clemson team. I need to see what Auburn can do against an upper-tier foe like this before I back them. Clemson might be sold a little short, but I'm not going to get involved in this one.
Auburn did have a couple guys go down, so you think that will come into effect here, big man?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, obviously things are going to get magnified when you play Clemson in Death Valley. They'll do things to you that, Kent State or Georgia Southern won't be able to do. I kind of agree with Ian. This won't be a game I'm going to be really into. I do think it'll be a close game. I would lean with the points here just because I'm pretty high on Stidham and Auburn. I like Petway a lot. But again, I'm still wondering about Clemson. I mean, I don't really put a lot of stock into them beating, Kent State. Clearly Kent State quit. Is Kelly Bryant, I hear how he's the real deal because he played well in that game, but let's be real. This is going to be where we see if he got the ability to be the real deal. I know I would have in Stidham. I know he's going to be able to probably command that offense pretty well. I don't have much in this game. I haven't looked much into it. These are games I typically don't get involved with, but I'll definitely watch it. I'm going to go ahead and lean that Auburn can cover this game. I think it'll be a close game throughout. I'll take a shot with Auburn, but I'm not going to be betting it. I don't have much on it.
It is a tough ask to ask Auburn, first-year quarterback, to go on the road at night to Clemson and come out with a win, even stick within 5 points. But Donnie, you got any opinion? Even the total at 53.5, is that a little low in your eyes?
I don't think it is because they're too powerful. Whenever you have athletes on the field, they tend to go over the total. But in this situation, Dabo Swinney, I mean, he sort of built that program up to play in big-type game situations. The one thing you're interested in looking at is 69% of the public betting spread-wise here is favoring the Clemson Tigers in this one. However, that line opened up at Chris Drew 6 down to 4.5. Pinnacle opens up at 6.5 down to 5.5. Bet Online must have opened up really early with a 9. They're down to 5.5 in this. Maybe the sharps are talking a little bit on Auburn here, but until I see Clemson go down in this type of environment with a spread under 7, I'm always going to lean to Dabo just because I like what he's built. I mean, they've been there, done that, go up against the Titans and continually beat them in these type of situations. I'm interested to watch this one, but that line right there, looks a little bit too easy for Clemson for me. I might be leaning Auburn here as maybe a sharper edge.
Yeah, and some interesting things on Auburn's side. I mean, Petway's coming back. He was suspended for first game against Georgia Southern. Also, their backup quarterback, Sean White, I believe he's still going to be suspended for this game. So if anything happens to Stidham, they would have to go with a third-string guy. And Stidham was running around pretty well against Georgia Southern's defense, but Clemson's defense is going to be a different animal, especially on the road. But what's that, big man?
No, I was just laughing about Georgia Southern compared to Clemson. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, different animal, absolutely. But guys, what about 387, 388, Stanford, USC, USC lane 6 or 7? Make sure to shop around. Check out SBR odds on this one to get the best number. 56 the total. Big man, what are you thinking about this one on the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Stanford. I really like this team. I have a big future. I mean, you never know. This is going to go a long way in proving if they're legitimate or not. Had a week to prepare. I know guys will bring that up. Look, they didn't really have to – they really had more than weeks to prepare because Rice is a pathetic program, so you really don't have to prepare much for them. I like Keller Christ. I think he's a bit of a miracle, to be totally honest with you. I think the fact that he came back so quick from that gruesome injury last year is really a medical miracle, if you ask me. I'm blown away at how effective he is and has looked in practice and in game situations. I like their running back, Love. I think defensively they're getting better and better. I think they're going to get back to the years of when they were a shutdown defense. I think their secondary is really good as well. And look, we saw USC struggle, and this is what USC is. They're all the hype early in years, how good Sam Darnold is, how great this team's going to be. Look, I like Darnold a lot. I think this would be a tough football game, though. I think it'd be one of those typical Pac-12 kind of two really good teams going head-to-head. Stanford's not going to be scared to go in there and play. They're well-coached. I like David Shaw, always have. I don't trust Clay Helton either. I don't know that I trust really anyone else on USC other than Darnold. For me, I'm going to lean with Stanford here. I think this is a really big game for them early on to kind of show the Pac-12 that they're a team that needs to be reckoned with other than USC. So I would go with the Cardinal here.
And Ian Cameron, what are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, it's Stanford or pass for me. It's probably going to be pass because it just feels that Stanford bandwagon's been loaded up a little bit more after USC had that scare with Western Michigan last week. But Stanford, 3 straight covers against USC dating back to the start of last season, and I'm not willing to lay these kind of points with USC. They are still a public team that has been overvalued, I think, and the hype's just gone a little bit out of control with the Trojans dating back to before the season. And the stat that really concerns me and really stands out like a sore thumb from that scare against Western Michigan, 49-31 last week, they actually got outgained on the ground by Western Michigan. That means at the point of attack, you were not as physical against the Western Michigan Broncos. So how are you going to handle Stanford's ground game now in this game? Bryce Love being able to run the football downhill against this USC team. That is a massive red flag, massive concern for me that USC got outrushed, outgained on the ground last week. Michigan team. That's a concerning matchup issue that they're going to have to overcome. Sam Darnold looked jittery. Maybe the Heisman hype got into his head a little bit last week, but that was a jittery, very comfortable, confident performance from him. Turnovers were an issue, bad interceptions. He's going to have to negate that against a much better team, a much better defense here in this game. Let's not forget Stanford off a bye week. They've had plenty of time to adjust the body clock from that Australia trip. Get back here. It's a Stanford or pass situation for me. Do not want to lay it with USC.
Yeah, the extra time to prepare could come into effect. Donnie, you got anything on Stanford, USC? And if not, anything on the Boomer Sooners heading to Ohio State?
Let's take a look at Stanford, USC in this one. I mean, Stanford opens up the season early. They get the extra week off. They beat what equates to a middle school team with Rice, hammered them. I get that. Public's going to go out and see USC struggle with Western Michigan, who lost their head coach and lost a lot of talent in that situation. And the public bets accordingly. 70% are betting Stanford in this game, only 30% USC. However, line opens up at Chris, 5.5. USC now sits at 6.5. So some smart money must have came in early here on USC. We'll see how it factors in later in the week, but everything lines up where your minds are going to play tricks on you. Wait a second. USC couldn't handle Western Michigan at home. Oh my God. Stanford opened up and murdered a team, and they have extra time to play one of their rivals. Yeah. Something's not adding up here because everybody's leveling here on Stanford, and that line is going higher. That's something to keep an eye on.
That's exactly, Donnie, the point as to why Stanford is I'm going back and forth, play or pass, and I'm not sure what I want to do right now. But if I had to, I'd play Stanford, but I'm not sure I will.
Donnie, about the line movement, yeah, I know you talk about it a lot, and Tomar actually in the chat box just said something about the public doesn't bet until game day. Do you think that's relevant in using the numbers?
Here's the whole point of that. So-called quote-unquote sharp money. What do? They crush the opening line, then they beat it up and see where it ends up to see if they want to come in at the end. The most important line movement to me is not the steam on Sunday and Saturday morning when publics and sharps are betting. It's immediately when that line comes out when you say, man, that looks a little bit high. And you can see your screen lighting up like a Christmas tree, changing numbers. That's the most important line to me. I want to see where it opened and where it immediately moved and then react and say, not just follow the steam or go bet the game, and saying, you know what? Let me open up a book on USC to see why now. They're not getting very much public action or 30% of play, but that line is moving higher. It makes you want to dig into the numbers a little bit more, but I take more stock in the opening number than actually the closing number.
Preach, Donnie. Wait, Mark, where we are? What, the hour and 4 minute mark? If you need to replay that, what Donnie said, that is, he's preaching college football line move right there. Opening to what it goes at by Monday afternoon. Pay attention to that. That's some smart money more often than not. But guys,
no, Donnie's analysis of the intricacies of line movement are fantastic as far as I'm concerned, and that's always something you got to factor in the back of your mind before you get to the betting window. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why it's good to have a book that has openers. You know, we know 5 dimes. Chris is one of them, but Bet Online is really the opener where you can get a nickel down on these line moves. They come out Sunday about 2:00 Eastern. If you don't have a Bet Online account, not really sure why not, but maybe it's just not worth it to you. But the opening lines, like Donnie's saying, is something that everybody should have in their back pocket. But guys, we got to get, for the sake of time, into best bets. Let's get right around college football, NFL, MLB, whatever you got. Big man, start us off.
Right. I'm going to go with a total. I'm going to go over 60. UCLA, Hawaii. Don't really understand this line. It's actually went down, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but Hawaii can't stop anybody. And they're a team that can move the football. If we saw anything from UCLA, it's that they struggle as well to get stops. I think Josh Rosen's a guy that should be able to pick Hawaii apart. Again, kind of odd move. I don't know why this number is going down. But again, I just think we see 2 up-tempo teams here. Hawaii's a team that does they're not that typical Hawaii team. They're a team that can move the football. They will score into the 20s, I would think, into this game. And if you look at last year, you look at some of their step-up games, they got crushed. I mean, they were giving up 50 points like it was no one's business. I think this one gets way over 60. It's kind of a head scratcher to me. Hawaii, 272 passing yards a game. They've been able to move the rock as well. This one should be a pretty wild game. Quick point as well. I really like Oklahoma this week, plus 7.5. I'm all over that number. I think Baker Mayfield, this is the game where he puts himself kind of sorely into that Heisman Trophy leading spot. I think there's no Malik Hooker, no moments like that this year for this Ohio State team. They had trouble against Indiana in week 1. They let Richard Legault kind of really do whatever he wanted through the air. I think Baker Mayfield's going to pick them apart. I know they don't win these big games a lot of the time, but when you're getting over a touchdown with Oklahoma in a game like this, I'm going to take a shot with them. But for me, my play of the day is going to be game number 153, 154, over 60, Hawaii and the Bruins.
Big man, to come back at you on that Hawaii, I like the total as well. I'm with you. What about looking sidewise? I mean, can you see this backdoor being open, laying 23 with UCLA? And, you know, Hawaii can move the ball.
Yeah, they can, but my concern is them. I don't know how good they are. I mean, they look good against UMass and West Carolina and Fresno State, but if you really peel back last year and look at them throughout, because they are the same team pretty much, they got crushed. And I'm talking about 55-0. I mean, Michigan, they got they were just getting rolled by some of these teams. I have a weird feeling this one's like 52-24, and the backdoor might be open, but I'm not one to think that Hawaii is going to go on go into the States and even make this one close, because they've shown in the past they can't do that. But I feel like they will score in the 20s. Why not just go over? Hawaii will give up 40 plus for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like it, big man. Donnie, what about you? What are you looking at for best bets, man?
NFL opening week, we might as well go with an NFL game again. We'll go back to 463, 464 in the rotation. It's going to be Oakland, Tennessee. All summer long, I've been talking about this game. I love the matchup. Situation's even playing out better than I thought. 37% of the wagers coming in on Tennessee with 61% of the money. Line opened up as a small favorite towards the Oakland Raiders at -1.5. Now currently Pinnacle, as we're on the air, just flashed a -2.5. So line moving in the right direction for me. Try to snap that one up before it gets to 3. I just think overall Tennessee's a good football team. They just placed Oakland in a bad situation. I'm not saying I'm down on Oakland. They're not going to win double-digit games. They're not going to challenge for the division. I just think they're in a bad spot as an opener here. A lot of hype on that team coming in here. Tennessee, very talented team, seemingly a little bit farther under the radar than I thought they would be. Everything lines up well. I think Tennessee gets the job done on opening day. I'll go with Tennessee, and we'll go -2.5. We'll keep it even there, Pinnacle.
So going with the Titans?
Yeah, we'll go Titans -2.5. I'll even take the worst number on the board.
All right, Tennessee Titans -2.5, NFL Week 1 for Donnie. And Ian Cameron, what are you liking?
Yeah, we're going to go to a rare conference matchup in college football on the board on Saturday. I think maybe a little wrong team favored situation here in this one. We're going to look at Wake Forest +1.5 against Boston College coming up on Saturday, game in Chestnut Hill. I think Wake Forest football team this year, it's funny because last year what was the talk about? How the announcer for Wake Forest threw this team under the bus, giving out play calling, game plans, that kind of thing to opponents. Since that whole thing blew over,
that I heard.
Yeah, apparently, yes. That seems to be the tool to use these days to do this kind of crap. Yeah. But it's funny because that came out before the bowl game last year. They beat Temple in the bowl game. They beat Presbyterian. Obviously, Presbyterian is who they are, but still 2-0 for Wake Forest since that time. And I think it's an improved football team. I think defensively they're going to be very good this year. Kendall Hinton, the dual threat quarterback now for Wake Forest, has assumed the starting job. I think he's going to have an improved season for this team. And Boston College, to me, did not impress me even in victory last week against Northern Illinois, 23-20, but outgained in the football game. Northern Illinois outgained Boston College despite BC escaping with that victory. And then you look at the meeting last year between these two teams, BC with a 17-14 win over Wake Forest, but don't be fooled. Wake Forest outgained Boston College big time in that football game, deserved a better fate. I think payback for the Wake Demon Deacons here in this game. And let's not forget, this is not a dominant home field. This is not a scary home field here in Chestnut Hill. Boston College 3-9 against the spread. Their last 12 at home. I'd say that struggle continues for them here. Wake Forest +1.5, best bet for the round table this week.
All right, Ian Cameron on Wake +1.5. I'll go 3-6-1. San Jose State, Texas over 63. I think Texas is an over team until further notice. I think the market's a little slow on these totals. Also, San Jose State, the Spartans running a little bit more up tempo this year. And guys, so that's it for best bets. We got BMOC, Hawaii, UCLA over 60. Donnie on Tennessee Titans -2.5. Ian, Wake +1.5. I'll be on 3-6-1 San Jose State over 63. Let's do a little shout outs at the end here. Week 1 of NFL, also week 2 of college football. Great show, guys. I'll start us off with shout outs. We mentioned Bet Online. If you don't have a Bet Online account, you need to get one. Their openers on Sunday afternoon. Bet right into them. Very important to get ahead of the number. If you don't have a Bet Online account, looking to add a new one. If you use code DREWBET, you'll get a 75% bonus. And if you already have a Bet Online account, keep it. If you use Drew55, you'll get a 55% reload bonus. It helps keep the lights on here and keep us doing this content, so it helps us out. And also that Drew55, I believe, is the best reload business, the best reload bonus in the industry. Haven't seen one better. So make sure to check that out at Bet Online. Let's go around the horn, guys. Let's give a little shout out.
I'd like to shout Donnie Wrightset out for getting the best of it in that Tennessee game. Great job, Donnie. Good number you're working with there. Donnie waits 8 hours to get the right line. Good job.
I'm not saying I took the worst one on purpose. No, I don't want to hear back saying you got that. No way. Look at it. I just want. Yeah.
Donnie actually did something that I've never seen. He actually added an extra half point to a game. Just to say it.
Yeah, I wanted plus money on that one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to my partner, Donnie Wrightset. We do the late right side of campus every day. The late night on campus was stolen from us No, I'm only kidding. Right side of campus every day, 12:30. Check us out. We also have a show every Saturday called The Closing Line. Peter Loshek and I break down the college football card right before the games. Today at 3 o'clock, I also have Premier League Punters. We break through the entire Premier League card. International breaks over. It means English soccer's back. I'll be doing that at 3 o'clock, and catch me on that.
Hey, yo, I got to also jump in here. Donnie, yeah, what are you talking about? The Greek showing -1.5, -120. That's what we're going with.
No, I went with Pinnacle showed up -2.5. So I said, you know what? Give me the worst number. That's how
Donnie
confident
writes
I am.
that
Give me
line
the worst
maker
number on the board. Yes.
Donnie writes that line genius, getting the best of it. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. No, I'm changing it. Donnie, you're on -1.5 Tennessee. All right.
Do it.
Give me +1.5 wide. Let's take the open. Hold on. Let me revise.
Why don't you play 6.5?
Let's go on 463, 464. I played this on June 21st. I got +3.5 Tennessee. Let's go with that.
Why don't you slay 6.5, Donnie?
Exactly.
All right, we got to say hi to Matt's cousin Sheila. It's her 3rd birthday. So hello,
very
Sheila.
good. Happy
Matt,
birthday.
obviously helping out a lot
Happy
with this
birthday,
roundtable. So.
This is what happens to shout-outs now. Now we're going to be doing all this stuff. Yep, good job.
Everybody's got in. I'm sure Cynthia and Zach will jump in just a second. But guys, what other shout-outs we got real quick?
Well, for me, I mean, I got the CFL show every Tuesday. That's great. I will now be on every Wednesday night with my pal Morency on Sports Rage. Great to see that back here at SBR.
Ian.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know I did cash my bet that you had mentioned Morency over 1.5 times in the show today. So thank you for that. Just wanted to let you know.
There you go. Of course, yeah. Of course. And hockey show. I think we're going to have some kind of hockey show in a month because NHL season is going to be fast approaching.
The puckhead.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be awesome when we get NHL back in a month. So, and of course, the roundtable every week. So busy stuff. And by the way, I almost forgot to mention this. NFL and college football play of the week videos. They're going to be on Twitter and Facebook. We're going to be doing it via social media this year, not on YouTube. I'll be doing those every Thursday. I'll have an NFL and college football play of the week video. It'll be a different play in college or NFL from the one I give out here on the roundtable. So make sure you tune in for that. Hopefully we get a winning record and a winning season with those videos. Looking forward to bringing them back.
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
I gotta ask you a question. I got a bone to pick with SBR for just a minute. Why do we have a time limit? Can I ask that? Gabe Morency can go for 8 hours.
No, less is more. We keep it tight. We keep it 1 hour. We keep it hard hitting.
I'm only making a joke here.
No, and I can actually give you an answer. I think that the analytics come back, and we already went over this 59, so I don't think it matters now. But when people watching the replay see 2 digits, so like 59 minutes or less, or they see 3 digits, so it's like an hour or more, they're less inclined to click yes. So they're, and watch it. That's the reason. So we try.
There's one thing I want to shout out to, Drew, is Donnie's new show, Closing Line, is a genius idea. It's a brilliant concept. 6 to 7 or something in that range Eastern time, getting everybody prepared for the nightly games on a every single day basis. That's a great concept of a show, and I wish them all the best with it. Should be fun.
No, I appreciate that. And again, we've been doing it this week here, and we're not shooting any links out now. It does go live, but it's almost like a test run that we're going through. I had Peter on. I had Jeff on the day before that. Jeff's going to be on again today. We're just running through the kinks. Monday, we'll have that show going live, but the specific of that game, which I love, which Ian's pointing out, just to go over the concept of the show all afternoon long. We go over generalities for games. We don't see any lineups. You don't see late movement. This show is designed for picks and getting you ready for the closing line. What I think about a lineup that came out, what, Jeff's going to think about seeing some things that are moving around out there, some late breaking information, giving out picks and going right up to the first pitch or kickoff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Monday, we'll have that official kickoff, but we are going to do the show live again. So if you're on YouTube, see a little thing pop up there, check in. We'll be running the chat box, doing everything there, but I appreciate it, Ian. That's going to be a lot of fun from here on out with a lot of good guests. And again, Ian, hockey season starts up. He's going to be on there. Drew makes appearances on there. Teddy's going to make an appearance. Pete's on that show. Everybody here at SBR is going to make an appearance on that show. A lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, it is
awesome.
I'm really excited about it.
Watch it. Everybody, watch it.
All right, guys. Any more shout outs or forever hold your peace here?
Yeah, I actually want to shout out my barber. Thanks for getting me in today. I know I usually come Friday night, but you were able to get me in early. Shout out to my cleaning lady. I do think she stole my coffee, which I got to find out what happened to that. But, and again, shout out to the guy at the toll the other day. I didn't have exact change, and he was able to give me change, which normally he's not usually there. So shout out to the Summers Point toll guy who not always there, but he was there this week.
All right, guys. And also a shout out to all the listeners in South Florida and the Caribbean. Stay safe. If you can, evacuate. Head up to Atlanta. Head up to wherever. Find shelter for sure. But, guys, enjoy week 1 NFL, week 2 CFB. Guys, anything else before we close it out?
Nope.
One thing I want to point out, Kansas, rarefied point spread air, laying the kind of points they are. They've been a favorite 3 times the last 3 years. Last week didn't cover. Ohio lost outright last year. South Dakota State 2 years ago as a favorite, lost outright. Be careful with the Jayhawks. They're a better team. I'm not ready to lay those points.
Boom. Great way to end it. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.